Hi there. You got yourself a bowed dulcimer. Now what? Let's go through the basics, the very beginning basics. First of all, holding your instrument. It's going to be held between your knees here and your shoulder here. A lot of this depends on your body type. I'm very tall and I have long legs. You want to grip the instrument where the sides and the back meet. You don't want it jammed down in here. You'll damp the sides. You won't be able to move the bow well. It needs to be sitting up here. If you don't have real long legs, you may want to use a strap. Your instrument came with strap buttons, one here and one here. You can take that strap and just loop it around your head and adjust it so that the nut is about even with your shoulder, and have that hang and support the instrument and your knees steady. You don't want to have to use your hands for anything other than playing. Okay, now let's talk about the bow. Here it's a cello bow. This is the tip. This is the frog. If you've never played a bowed instrument before, I recommend using the underhand bow hold. Your bow will have a little leather thumb rest here ahead of the frog. Take your bow and face the hair towards you. Open your hand to the sky with your fingers together. Set the bow down so that your index finger is on the little leather thing. Take your middle finger and ring finger, the tips of those fingers, and put them in between the bow hair and the stick, and take your thumb and lay it across the top in a comfortable manner. It looks like this. Okay? Then you can take the bow, place it on the string about 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the bridge. You don't want to put it up here. It won't work very well. It won't sound very good. Bring it down here, place it on the string, and pull. The two initial mistakes that people use is that they're getting squeaks because either they're pressing too hard or not hard enough. The other thing is people tend to be real tentative, moving the bow too slowly. If you do that, it'll go. Great for removing people from the room, not good for music. Okay? Take your bow and move it, and do it in a nice, steady fashion. From tip to as far as you can go, and then change direction. Don't worry about the left hand first. Just get nice clear notes on your low string, your middle string, and your high string. Keep your shoulder relaxed. Keep your elbow relaxed. Keep your wrist loose. Good bowing is all in the wrist. You're always pulling the bow. Always pull, never push. If you push, it'll go. If you pull, it'll go la, la. Okay? Those are the simple basics. If you're using the overhand hold, it's because you have prior string training and you don't need me to tell you how to do that. If you haven't used a bow before, start with the underhand bow hold. The results will be so much better and so much easier. Left hand. your thumb is going to go under the overhang of the top. That's why the top overhangs the sides, so you have some place for your thumb to go. You're going to use your index finger, your ring finger, and I'm sorry, but yes, your pinky finger, the one you never used before. We're going to use that a lot. You're going to use these fingers so that you don't have to do horrible stretches. Here's how you get your hand position. Take your ring finger and place it on the actual 4th fret. Now, if we're talking dulcimer frets, that would be your 2nd fret. But we'll keep this simple here, and I'll use the actual numbers of the frets. So I put my ring finger on the 4th fret. Notice I'm using the tip of my finger. From this place, my little finger can easily get to the 5th fret, and my index finger can rotate back to the 2nd fret. When you have your fingers sitting on the string, let your thumb come into the side of the instrument, under the lip, and that's where your thumb wants to be. Let's go over that hand position thing again. Ring finger, tip, 4th fret. Leave it there. Little finger, 1 fret up. Index finger, 2 frets back. Then let your thumb come into the side. Now your thumb has become your reference point. To play a scale, watch my fingers. Now I go to the next string and do exactly the same thing. Let's do that again. Open, index, ring finger, little finger, next string, open, index, ring finger, little finger. Do that 10 times. Then come back and we'll do the hard part. We'll do it in reverse. Oh my God! No! Start with all your fingers on, and then all you have to do is lift them up in succession. Then move over to the next string, and you're going to begin with the little finger. Do that 10 times. Put it together, and you'll be able to go. Because your low string is a D and your high string is a D, the fingering is the same. Using just those notes, there's a ton of tunes that you can play. Take tunes you know how to play on other instruments or that you know how to sing, and see if you can figure out how to finger them. For the most part, be sure you're using the tips of your fingers on the strings, that your finger is just in back of the fret. If your finger is in the right place when you're pushing down, you should actually be able to feel the side of the fret with the side of your finger. You want to be right up on it. Later on, when you get into more advanced playing and you're playing up the fingerboard, the higher up the board you get, the more on top of the fret you have to be. But that's for later. This is just getting going. The stuff we play down here is what we call first position. So when I'm talking about first position, this is what I'm talking about. If you want to play a tune in G, you only have to make one change. The bottom notes will be the same, but on the middle string, you got to use your middle finger on the note C on the 3rd fret instead of your ring finger on C sharp. So you can play tunes in G without retuning. Those are all the basics. Quick review. Holding it. Be sure you don't have it jammed down into your knees, that the instrument's sitting up as high above your knees as possible, and you're gripping it between the back and the sides. This is a dead place. This is a live place. You want that to vibrate. It's part of the tone. Be sure you don't have it hiked up here so you're having to reach up. Your arm will get real tired. It should be about even with your shoulder, maybe even a little lower. It's different for each person. Figure out what works best for you. Quick underhand hold primer, flat on your hand, index finger on the outside, 2 tips on the inside. Don't let the fingers come up here and become pistol targets. You want to keep those 2 fingers down, covered up by the stick, in between there, thumb on top to counterbalance. If you need more visuals of how this bow hold is, go to the website of the Viola da Gamba Society of America. There's a ton of videos there of people using this bow hold, and you can watch them for hours. That's the basics of that. Basics of this hand. Hand in a gentle arch. Use the tips on the string. Establish your hand position, starting with the ring finger to establish it, so that you've got the Bowed Dulcimer player's secret handshake. Just like that. Thumb goes under the lip at the top. That's where you get your opposable thumb thing, so that you can play solidly. Move the fingers, not the hand. That's all the basics. Any other questions? Email me.